They say the house was damned long before Silas Vane laid the first stone. The land itself was sour, a place where crops withered and livestock fell ill without reason. A series of misfortunes, a well that ran black, a sudden and inexplicable fire that consumed the original homestead, whispers of a family who vanished overnight, plagued the grounds. When Vane, a recluse obsessed with arcane architecture, built his manor upon that poisoned earth, Room 313 became its malevolent core. Those unfortunate enough to be guests in Vane's early days spoke of an unnerving chill that had nothing to do with the weather, a cold that seemed to emanate from the very walls of that specific room. They described the feeling of being watched, of catching fleeting movements in the periphery of their vision, and waking in the dead of night to find the heavy furniture subtly rearranged. Some spoke of the room's 7 mirrors, each one reflecting a slightly distorted, slightly delayed version of reality, as if showing you a past that had just occurred. An excerpt from Silas Vane's private diary, dated 1898, reads, "The glass arrived today, 7 perfect surfaces. They do not reflect what is, but what could be. In room 313, I will build my observatory, not for the stars, but for the soul." The first official incident occurred in 1927. A wealthy socialite, Beatrice Collins, was found dead in room 313, the manor having since been converted into a hotel. She lay peacefully in her bed, a single bloodless puncture wound on her neck. The coroner ruled it an insect bite, an absurd conclusion given the wound's precision. But the most unsettling detail was the state of the room's 7 mirrors. Each one was shattered, a spiderweb of cracks radiating from a central point, as if struck from within. The police found it peculiar but ultimately inexplicable. It was the first of 7 victims and the first of 7 sets of broken mirrors. Then in 1954, a traveling salesman named Arthur Penhaligon checked into room 313. His frantic call to the front desk was logged at 3:13 a.m. He was screaming about a man in the mirrors, a man with tools, a man who was taking him apart. By the time the night manager unlocked the door, Penhaligon was dead, slumped against the wall. His body was unmarked, yet his death was ruled a heart attack. All 7 mirrors were once again shattered. A page torn from Vane's diary was found tucked beneath the carpet. It simply said, "The reflections hunger. They demand a toll for the glimpses they provide, a life for a look." The police were baffled. No signs of forced entry, no murder weapon, no logical explanation for how 7 heavy mirrors could simultaneously shatter without a sound loud enough to wake the adjacent rooms. The case went cold. Another strange death in a hotel, gaining a dark reputation. The pattern continued, a gruesome metronome marking the decades. 1968, a honeymooning bride. 1981, a skeptical journalist. 1995, a drifter who paid in cash. Each time, the same scene, a body without a clear cause of death found in a locked room, and each time, 7 shattered mirrors. The authorities began to suspect a serial killer of impossible genius, someone who could enter and exit locked rooms without a trace, a phantom with a vendetta against the hotel. But they never found a single lead. 7 victims, 7 mirrors. A different diary entry from Vane, discovered in the hotel archives, offered a chilling alternative. "They called me mad for building it this way, a room with 7 walls of glass. They do not understand. It is not a prison. It is an instrument, and I am its first musician." Was Vane confessing to being the killer, or was he merely the architect of the weapon itself? The line between creator and executioner blurred. He was never charged, dying of old age in the hotel's penthouse, his secrets locked away. Paranormal investigators flocked to the hotel in the late 90s, armed with EVP recorders and thermal cameras. One team spent a single night in room 313. Their equipment malfunctioned violently at 3:13 a.m. One member suffered a complete psychotic break, shrieking about a man with silver eyes stepping out of the glass. He was institutionalized, his ramblings about the architect and the seventh reflection dismissed as madness. Their audio recordings captured only a single clear whisper amidst the static, a voice cold and ancient that said, "Mine." After the seventh death in 2003, the hotel finally sealed room 313. The door was bolted, the hallway reconfigured. It was erased from the floor plan, a ghost in the building's blueprint. But the story doesn't end there. Staff began reporting strange phenomena on the floors directly above and below. Guests would complain of the faint rhythmic sound of a hammer striking metal, always around 3:13 a.m. Cleaning crews found small ornate screws and splinters of dark, aged wood in the hallways, materials that hadn't been used in the hotel's construction for over a century. A final, disturbing excerpt from Silas Vane's journal was found by his descendants in 2015, hidden within the binding of an old book on geometry. The seventh victim completes the circuit. The mirrors no longer need to break. The gateway is now stable. I've built myself a permanent residence between the seconds, a kingdom in the reflection. I am the architect, the observer, and the occupant. I am the ghost in my own machine. The room may be sealed, but the architect of its sorrow is not gone. He is not a spirit bound to a single space. He is the instrument. He is the observation. Guests who stay in the rooms across the hall sometimes report seeing a flicker of movement in their own bathroom mirrors. A tall, gaunt figure standing just behind their reflection for a fraction of a second, his eyes gleaming like polished silver. He never left, and he's still building.